Intuitive viewers! Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to part one of Psychic Sisters special edition with my sister Kris from Cardvoyant Kris.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about some spiritual things we wanted to talk about and asking a couple of questions. She's going to look at a couple of Trump things with the cards. And so we'll have a part one on Intuitiview, and then part two will be on Kristen's channel at Cardvoyant on YouTube. So okay, so let's get started. Well, there are a couple of political things because I know that you're kind of meh about doing political things,
okay.
but you're good at it, and I want to hear what you have to say about this, especially when it comes to things like how events or how people can be interpreted through the cards. I just wondered, because when I looked at the last time, it was about a month ago, I looked at Trump, what's going to happen to like the Trump people. It came up as like, are they going to fall away? Are they going to forget about Donald Trump? Are they going to stick to him? What is it? And I was shown the Jonestown Massacre. And there's lots of ways you could interpret that.
Yeah.
You could say there is going to be some kind of litmus test, where they're going to have to prove their loyalty through something that actually does risk their lives. And now we're having this rally on Saturday where they're going to have to prove their loyalty by risking their lives.
Yeah.
Not work, because he doesn't want masks, and you know how he is. He doesn't want the spacing between, because he wants it to look full. He doesn't want the masks. He doesn't want to be reminded of his own, idiocy. And so, I'm worried about this. At the same time, it's like I'm hoping maybe it'll get canceled or something will happen. But I wondered what you saw as far as just that question of what is going to happen to his followers. Are some of them just going to like leave, come to their senses, or is this going to come to pass? So maybe two separate ones, one just on his followers in general,
Okay.
and then one on this event coming up.
Okay.
Just kind of what the energy behind it, what you get, because mine was to be honest, quite negative. So, and quite, just sad. I want these people to just kind of wake up,
Yeah.
And maybe and I'm sure some of them have already, and maybe there'll be others, but these people that are really stuck in these like racism, you see these videos where people are like rabidly racist. They don't want to give that up for whatever reason.
Yeah. And it's the cult of personality. The typical,
yes.
Just like textbook cult of personality. So
yes.
Okay.
Exactly,
well, let me ask first then just about his followers.
Yeah.
Any kind of energy or whatever. We'll see what we get.
Yeah.
Okay. So give me a couple, you know how I am.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm just sitting with Lucy because she's so obnoxious when I put her down.
Oh, I'll show you the cards really quickly.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Isn't that interesting because they're so positive, right?
That is really
these
weird.
really positive cards, but I know what the story is here.
Okay.
So first, like this Three of Wands, that's about, wands, they're all the things we're passionate and we're loved, but this figure on the card is like looking for something, towards something. There's this sea that doesn't quite look like a sea, but it's this sea of trying to be in touch with something, like our inner selves, right? Because usually water talks about our psychic selves and our inner selves, and here like there's boats on it. You know in a way that it's water, but it's yellow. So you know that it's there, but it's like not quite right. It's not quite in touch with that psychic self, right? And this is his followers. They're very much like the figure in this card, looking towards something, holding on to what they believe in. You see, like holding on to the wands. He's like holding on to it, looking for something that they believe is the truth, right? And yet it's an illusion. That's why it's yellow instead of, in this instance, that's what it's talking about. So it's this idea of grasping onto something that they feel is the truth. And in the center, you get this World card, which is this fabulous card, right? It's the last card in the major arcana. It's sort of this accumulation of the major arcana. And this though, for them, it's about their world, what they see as the world. And it's very, see how it has like the four fixed signs of the zodiac?
Yeah.
That's because they believe in this fixed, straight, this is the way things should be.
Black
They
and
have
white.
this
Yeah.
very, yes, they have this very um, limited idea of what they think is, it is black and white because it's very much about right and wrong. This is
Right.
right and this is wrong. This is the way
Right.
they should be. And I cannot look at other things because I'm trying to hold on to
Right.
this want, to what I believe, my things I'm passionate about, often the things I've grown up with, right? Because that makes you feel safe, the things that you've
Right.
grown up with. And so then you get this world that they're within like this circle where they
Hmm.
don't want to change, they want to be protected, they want to have things stay the same. And so then you get, interestingly, this 10 of cups,
Hmm.
which is this lovely sort of fulfillment card of cups, which are about love. You can see family and hope
Hmm.
and joy and expression. And the thing is, when I saw that, I'm like, well, that's out of place. But it's not, because this is what they believe they're heading toward.
Oh,
They
right.
believe that Donald Trump is the way to get there.
Right.
That everybody outside that scope is a threat, right? That
Hmm.
this, like, he's the only path. He's the only path there, and
Right.
they're not, these really sort of rabid, loyal supporters. They're not going to give that up. How can you
Right.
give up the idea of utopia? How can you
Right.
give up the idea of ultimate happiness, of the rightness
Right.
of your beliefs? They
Right.
can't give that up. They're not going to. They'll go down with the ship because they'll feel like the more that the world piles on against them, the more that they'll be convinced that this is the only path to the place they want to get to.
Right.
Otherwise, why would people be so, again, try and take it away from them?
Right.
If it weren't so valuable, important, why would people try and take it away from them? And that's what they feel people are trying to do. It's almost, I mean, they see Donald Trump as this pathway, but in
Hmm.
so many ways it has little to do with him. It's
Right.
just an open door that
Right.
they think can bring them to this place of sort of peace. Well, it's almost like justification for living. That's what I
Hmm.
hear. It's like their justification for living. Like, we're right to
Hmm.
believe these things, we're right to, like, I'm right in my being. A lot of these people don't feel right. They
Hmm.
feel sort of like misfits, or they don't fit in. Maybe their ideas are old fashioned, or maybe they're weird, or maybe they themselves have had struggles and stuff where they haven't quite fit in,
Right.
and they feel like he's an open door for
Hmm.
people like them, and that they
Right.
congregate together, and he's taking them to the place that is rightfully theirs, some place where they truly belong.
Right.
And they're
Right.
not, how do you give that up? They're not going
Right.
to give that up.
Right.
They're going to be there to the bitter end,
Right.
in whatever form that takes. And there will be people in, 30 years from now,
Hmm.
40 years from now, when he's long gone and his legacy is so tarnished, and just horrible, that it's kind of like Hitler, where you don't speak his name in a positive light ever. There will
Uh-huh.
still be people that are devoted to him
Right.
and to
Right.
his cause, and this missed opportunity, much like the South,
Right.
with some of the Confederate generals and stuff. How
Oh,
they're
geez, I know.
venerated.
It's like talk about let it go, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
true.
But it's like
Well,
that. It's like that was that one door they could have. They almost
right.
got us there, and they're not going to give that up.
And it's perfect. Those all those cards are really perfect too, because this kind of like whenever you're dealing with a cult, there's always illusion involved.
Exactly.
It's an illusion. It's smoke and
Yes.
mirrors. He's not even what he's a con man. It's
Exactly.
like he's not even what, but they want to see it. They want it to be, and so
Exactly.
they're just believing it into
That's
being.
why that's why all of these cards look so positive.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Right.
here's this 3 of Wands. This is not exactly how I always interpret it, but this is the interpretation for
Right.
this reading. This idea of, we think we're going someplace on this sea that in itself, the sea in itself is an illusion.
Right.
There's no way to go anywhere on it,
It's
and yet they
right. Right.
they
Right.
truly believe. that it is. And they truly believe it's us against the world.
Right.
And they truly believe that they are going to get someplace, maybe literal paradise, like people who believe
Right.
sort of in the rapture and those kinds of things, or their rightful place in society.
Right.
Where
Right.
they believe, where they fit in. That's so much of
Right.
it, where we fit, and actually where we lead, where like
Right.
we always knew that we belonged here, and in fact we're better than a lot of
Yeah.
people. Like, that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Um, okay, well that's good. And so do you want to do one just for the event
yes,
on Saturday
ooh,
and see what that is like? So
yes,
that's so interesting though that it would be kind of it was the same message but it looked so different. Mine was like complete
exactly. Isn't that weird?
Jonestown like devastating,
Because I think
but it's
because this,
basically a cult.
yeah, and I think this reading, that reading, was talking about where they're coming from.
Right,
So you were
right,
sort of seeing what was going, the sort of aftermath, and this is sort of like,
right,
this is where we're coming from, because we asked
right,
about, what I was shuffling is asking about their energy, what they get,
right,
what we need to know about them,
right.
what it would help
Yeah,
us to know. Okay,
yeah.
so the Trump rally, Oklahoma, right?
Tulsa, Oklahoma on Saturday.
After all that shuffling, and then I got this. This is one of the cards again.
What the heck?
I know. So there's the cards.
Okay.
So I have to tell you, when I was shuffling those cards and asking this question, you know how you talk about getting dizzy sometimes?
Yeah,
Almost, I got kind of dizzy, which never happens to me. It was interesting
interesting.
feeling. Oh, these cards. Five of Cups. This this is another kind of an illusion card, right?
Mhm.
These people, they're looking to Trump. They're looking to this Trump, thinking that he has these three cups, and it's just,
Uh-huh.
it's so not real. There are plenty of things in each person's life
Right.
at this rally that they have to love, and people who love them, and things
Mhm.
that are positive and stuff, and yet they're looking for love in all the wrong places.
Right, right.
I mean, they're looking to for Trump to provide something that he literally can't provide. Those three cups there, he's an
Right,
empty, he's like an empty vessel. He
right.
has nothing to give except illusion and platitudes. And
Mhm.
the biggest feeling that I got, like when I'm shuffling and stuff, is he's not even like there. He doesn't care. This means
Right,
nothing to him
right,
other than a show.
right.
It's so interesting with him. The feeling is that he just he just goes through the motions, especially now, because it's almost like he's living in routine, because honestly it feels like a lot of him is gone.
Mhm.
His intellectual capacity and stuff, it's like it's gone. And
Mhm.
now he's almost living this life of repetition. It's like that energy we talked about repeating itself. That's
Right,
what he's doing. He just has these things that he's familiar with. And
mhm.
it's not even like they make him feel good anymore, even though he might say that. It's
Right,
because this is what he does. And
right.
just, he doesn't know what else to do.
Well, and the other thing,
Oh, man, it's
going
awful.
going along with that, it's going along with that. Um, and you see it that he only has a certain amount of tricks. He only has a certain
We all
kind of
know them
trick.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not new, and he doesn't have anything. There's nothing else there. It's
There's
all
nothing there,
like you said,
honestly, the
repetition.
feeling, yeah. And the feeling with him is there's nothing left for him to be able to create anything new. He
Right,
doesn't, he somehow he feels empty. Not only like he's just empty, but
right,
like there's literally something that's been lost, and
right,
it's been lost in this time when he's in the presidency.
right,
And it's almost like an implosion, like he couldn't deal with a lot of this stuff, and then there's a lot of things because of that he's sort of gone downhill physically,
hmm,
and he feels like he's incapable of doing anything other than just this sort of monotonous routine. He tweets the same type of things over and over again, because
right,
it's just like a playbook, and he
right,
just turns the page to another play. There's
right,
nothing new about this.
right.
But then you get this the six of Swords. And this
Yeah.
card, this can often be kind of for me, a positive card for people when
Hmm.
they get this. It's about, I mean, swords are about this sort of our lives, our physical lives, our intellectual lives, and
Uh-huh.
sort of sometimes it can be about these progressive journeys and journeying
Hmm.
to a sort of a new thing, having learned a lot.
Hmm.
The the feeling that I got immediately with this card, and I hate to say it, but it's more of, that crossing of the river Styx, that idea when you talk about an ancient, people believe that when you passed away, you
Oh,
crossed
yeah.
the
Hmm.
river Styx. That's what it feels like. This feels like, it honestly feels deadly to
Yeah.
be taking part in this. Like there are going to be many people, not that even some people will recognize it, and not that it will be even matter to some people, but it's there may be something that happens there, some sort of incident or something outside of the facility. But this is crossing a line here.
Right.
This is
Right.
taking it's like a fatal step for a
Right.
lot of people,
Yeah.
like at least, I mean, I feel like hundreds,
Uh,
you know, and even people who don't maybe necessarily cross over, it's life changing in a
right.
negative way, physically, like
Right.
their
Right.
physical bodies.
Right.
And then you get this card again that we had before, and it's that
Right.
same. This is the message that even this is not going to deter some people. They're lost
Right.
in this illusion of looking for something, and they cannot give up the illusion that they've found what they're looking for, and
Right.
that this is going to take them to the place that they want to be. Yeah,
That
that
is.
that is not going to go away. But this is ominous to
Yeah.
me. I don't like it. I don't like
It felt that way, and I almost for a little bit I thought maybe people will try to talk him out of it or try to, but I thought at this point they don't do that anymore. There's nobody to talk him out of it.
and
There's nobody
I
left.
don't feel like they even could. This is
Right.
like I said,
I agree. I agree.
this is a thing he can do, that he wants to, or not even. It's almost like he doesn't. It's not a matter of wanting it. It's like what he knows to do.
Right.
It's like a pattern. It's like that
Right.
energy. It's like falling into this pattern, and he's not going to give that up
Right.
because he doesn't know how to do anything else. He certainly
Right.
doesn't know how to govern. He doesn't know how to address any of these issues. All he knows how to do is to have a rally.
And
And
people hanging on his every word, no matter what word it
exactly.
is.
And
The
exactly.
dumbest things.
Yeah.
They just start,
And then
ha
talking about
ha.
it, yeah, talking about it
Yeah.
for days on end
Yeah.
and dominating
Yeah.
the news cycle.
Yeah.
And that's just when he's in his element.
Right.
And honestly, that's all he knows how to do. There is no way on earth he is running this country.
Right.
He may
Right.
be vetoing some things. He might maybe stopping some things from happening, but
Right.
he's just a pawn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are people who are actually trying to do the work of the government, and then
Mhm.
there's other people that are just
Right.
using him because he is in no way capable of this. And there may be
Right.
may have been a time in his life when he was a little bit more capable. I mean, he's never
Mhm.
been very good at very many things,
Right.
but he may have been more. But now I'm telling you, what I keep seeing is like part of his brain missing. There's
Yes.
like an
Yes.
emptiness
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
that's
got something very similar just recently, but yeah, same thing.
yeah. So
Well,
not
well,
exactly an upbeat message
not at all.
to
No, not at
end
all.
on.
I know. Well, is there something else I should ask so we can end up like a one card
Like a
something?
happy thing. Um, I don't know. It would be nice. Um,
How about
but let's kind of
yeah.
ask about
All right.
a positive message about change or anything that we
Yeah.
should know about change and what's happening with that.
Lay down. Lay down.
I'm going to pull two cards here.
Lay down.
Well, in a two-card reading, who would think that you would get two major arcana cards?
Oh.
And they're good ones too.
Oh, good.
And this lover's card, I get this. In fact, I had it in the reading that I did today. And in that reading, it was talking very specifically about like a relationship.
Uh-huh.
But here, that's not what we're talking about. Well, we are, but it's not like, oh, we're all going to have a boyfriend or girlfriend now.
Right.
Right? That's not what it's about. This is talking about, again about balance. It's talking about the non-physical world and the physical world. It's about the love that we all share and the balance that's trying to uh, be achieved here, like between,
Right.
like in nature, and between man and nature,
Mm-hmm.
and between physical world and non-physical world. And you can see that there's like the angel here
Mm-hmm.
that sort of blesses this, and that's this feeling of um, being of us being watched over and protected. We have this idea of like humanity here in these two figures, and the ways that we're being watched over and protected, um, guided to sort of a better place, a more stable place, and a more balanced place. I mean, that's really what's happening. So there's,
Right.
again, talking about fear, there's nothing to fear here. It's like a process that we're all engaged in, and we're
Right.
very much supported in it. And then the Wheel of Fortune card.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really difficult time. And the Wheel of Fortune card talks about sort of the ups and downs of life, letting us know that, sometimes things are very positive, sometimes things are more challenging. I always think, that movie, have you seen the movie Parenthood?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. You know how at the end when Steve Martin is like imagining the roller coaster ride,
Yes.
his kids are like a disaster in the school play, and then he feels like he's on this roller coaster ride, and that's how
Right.
life is, right?
Right.
It's these very highs, and then sometimes these very low lows, and that's kind of where we are right now.
Right.
But the thing about this Wheel of Fortune thing, it's same illusion with a roller coaster, is that when you are propelled into these low points, there's a momentum that's built up, and it brings you to these higher points, and that's what's going on right now. Is we're experiencing this very difficult time, but it's taking us to higher ground.
Right. Right. Well,
So
that's good. That's a much happier note to
it is
end
a
on.
happier note to end on. And we're like watched over and protected and guided in that. Like we're not alone.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
good.
yes, that is a nice message to end
It
on.
is. It is.
So
Well, good.
oh, well,
Okay, so thanks everybody. Be sure to look on for part 2 on Kristen's channel on Cardvoyant Kris, and she'll have a link for readings if you want to get a reading with Kris. She reads for myself and for Cassie, and she has for years, and she's wonderful at it. So if you want to get a reading, she'll, I'm sure, have links for that. And also, my daughter Cassie started a blog, and I'm just going to plug it because I have my own channel. I could do
it's
that.
really good. It's really good.
She's a film student, so it's going to be about film. So, something to just kind of have something that's not about COVID or Trump or anything, just something a little bit, some fantasy out there, something to distract you for a little while. But Kristen will put a link there and in the description, and you can check that out. And she would love it if you followed her. If you tell her you're from the channel, she'll be so excited because she misses you guys and misses doing this. So
And people will love it if they follow her.
Will love it. Yeah,
because it is good. Yeah, it's really good.
So thanks everybody. Thanks, Kris.
You're welcome.
Thanks. It was a lot of fun, and we'll talk again and see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.